Getting a new venture off the ground is tough enough, right?
Hmm.
And then there's this added pressure, building trust in this huge online world.
Yeah, it's a massive hurdle.
How do you convince people you're the real deal when you're, just starting out? It's a big question for anyone trying to build that digital footprint.
Absolutely.
And look, if you're maybe looking for a quick way to give your social media profiles a bit of an initial boost just to make that solid first impression, you might want to check out a site like rapidboost.net.
Right, that can help with visibility.
Yeah.
But that fundamental challenge, how a startup, any startup in any industry
Yeah.
can build real, genuine online credibility and, speed up growth,
Yeah.
that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Okay.
We got some really interesting insights that unpack the core strategies here.
Good. Let's get into it then. Because it's not just about looking good online, is it? It feels like.
Well, our sources suggest building real credibility is this mix of perception, how people see you, how authentic you actually are, and, crucially, how consistent you are everywhere. Exactly. And the stats really back this up. Our sources point to a 2024 Bright Local stat. It says something like 88% of consumers check out a business online before they even think about engaging.
Wow, 88%. That's huge.
It's almost everyone. So for startups, getting those credibility signals right is just paramount. We're talking like a professional presence, showing you're an authority, having social proof,
Right.
and just being transparent and responsive.
Okay, but here's something I found really interesting. The material we looked at sort of hints that startups might actually have an edge here over the big guys.
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive, but yeah.
How does that work? How can a smaller, newer company seem more credible sometimes?
Well, often it just boils down to agility, their ability to move fast. Think about Stripe in the early days.
Okay.
The founders were super active on places like Hacker News, talking directly to users, sharing what they were building, responding to feedback almost in real time.
That direct interaction.
Exactly. That human-to-human thing, being so responsive, it builds a massive amount of trust really fast. It showed they were listening, they cared.
Okay, so that's the core idea, understanding what makes a startup believable online. Now, let's talk practicals. Laying the groundwork. The sources really hammer home the importance of a consistent brand identity, more than just a nice logo.
Right, way more. It's about building this cohesive digital signature.
Yeah.
So wherever someone finds you, a website, social media content, it all feels like you, unified.
Makes sense.
And that starts with a professional website, good domain name, loads fast, works on mobile, the basics, but essential. Then there's your brand voice, the personality in your writing.
Right, how you sound.
Yeah, and consistent high-quality visuals, logo, banners, team photos even. It personalizes the brand, builds trust.
The material used Notion as an example, didn't it? How their early focus on that clean, minimalist design really projected competence, even when they were small.
Exactly. It looked professional from day one. And another key point from the source is grab your brand name on all the relevant social platforms, even if you're not using them right away.
Oh, that's smart. Like digital squatting, but for your own brand?
Kind of. It stops others from grabbing it and just signals you're serious, you're planning for the long haul.
And here's something that surprised me a bit, apparently. Even just spending an hour tidying up your existing profiles can actually boost trust and engagement.
It really can. Those small details add up. They show you're paying attention, that you care about how you present yourself. It makes a difference.
Okay, so foundation sorted. What's next? The sources move on to content marketing, establishing yourself as an authority.
Yes. And this isn't just about churning out stuff. It's about strategically sharing valuable expertise, showing you know your stuff.
Right. Positioning yourself as a thought leader seems like a quick way to build credibility and connect with people in your industry.
It really is. And the sources mention different ways to do this. Long-form guides, case studies that solve real problems, but also short-form video demos, things that explained visually. And interestingly, founders using LinkedIn or Twitter to share personal insights, that relatability factor.
Yeah, humanizing the expertise. I liked that bit.
It can be super powerful. Like Jack Altman from Lattice. His LinkedIn posts on HR trends got a lot of attention.
Right.
It positioned him as a go-to voice, and that credibility flowed straight to Lattice.
Makes sense. But you can create the best content in the world, and if no one sees it...
Exactly. Discoverability is key. That's where SEO comes in. Targeting the keywords your potential customers are actually typing into Google.
Like the example they gave, how startups build credibility online. Pretty meta.
Yeah. Very relevant. And another smart move is repurposing content. Don't just let that great white paper sit there.
Right, turn it into blog posts, social updates.
Yeah, maybe a webinar outline. Squeeze every drop of value out of it across different channels. Maximize that impact.
Okay, so consistent brand, valuable content. What's the next piece? The material really zoned in on social proof next. Basically, getting other people to vouch for you.
Exactly right. Third-party validation is gold. It builds trust fast because it's not just you saying you're great.
So what forms does that take? Reviews, obviously.
Yep, user reviews, testimonials, especially from early adopters, people who took a chance on you. Also, case studies showing real results, tangible proof, and partnerships. Getting endorsed by respected brands or industry associations, that carries weight.
The Gusto example was good here. How they used success stories from their first users and backing from incubators to build trust quickly.
Yeah, a classic example of leveraging early wins. And don't forget media mentions or shout-outs from influencers.
Oh, right. Getting featured somewhere.
Exactly. That gives you instant credibility, what the source is called unearned trust earned fast. Someone else is putting their reputation on the line for you, essentially.
Okay, but it's not just about broadcasting, is it? You mentioned responsiveness earlier. The sources then talk about social engagement, actually talking with people.
That's a crucial shift. Moving from just putting messages out there to actually having conversations.
So how do you do that authentically?
Well, things like thoughtful commenting on LinkedIn posts or jumping into relevant Reddit discussions, maybe hosting an Ask Me Anything session.
Oh yeah, AMAs. Good way to be transparent.
Totally. And just providing really quick, helpful customer support on social media, being there when people have questions or problems.
Buffer got a mention for this, right? Their radical transparency and super fast Twitter support back in the day.
Yeah, they really stood out because of it. It built a loyal following. And related to this, the sources also mentioned building a community.
Like a Facebook group or Slack channel.
Exactly. A place for your biggest fans to connect with each other and with you. It fosters loyalty and turns users into advocates. Powerful stuff.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground on building trust, but there's a final piece that feels really fundamental: transparency and ethics.
Absolutely crucial. This is about the deep, lasting trust, not just surface impressions.
So being honest, especially when things go wrong.
Yes, sharing milestones is great, but also being open about mistakes, challenges. It humanizes the startup, makes you relatable and, paradoxically, more trustworthy.
And clear privacy policies, data handling. That's non-negotiable now, right? Especially for tech.
Oh, absolutely essential. People need to know their data is safe and how you're using it. Lack of clarity there is a massive red flag.
The Slack example during their early outages really stuck with me. They didn't hide, they communicated constantly.
And it built huge goodwill. People understood because Slack was open about it. Honesty pays off.
So true. And the flip side, the sources warned against unethical shortcuts, like buying fake reviews.
Definitely. Big warning there. It might seem like a quick win, but it will bite you back. It destroys trust if discovered, and it often is. Long-term credibility killer.
Right. Not worth the risk. Okay, so we've covered a ton of strategies. How do we pull this all together into something actionable for, someone listening right now?
Well, the sources actually laid out a kind of rapid action plan. Pretty useful.
Okay, let's hear it.
First, audit your current digital presence. Look for those inconsistencies we talked about. Then, professionalize your visuals and messaging. Make it tight.
Right. Get the house in order.
Then, commit to producing regular thought leadership content, maybe weekly, and proactively ask for reviews and testimonials. Don't wait for them.
Okay, be proactive. Makes sense.
Next, get involved. Engage in relevant online communities. Don't just lurk. And aim to pursue, say, one partnership or endorsement each month. Something concrete.
Setting goals. Good.
Be radically transparent in your communication, the good and the bad. And finally, measure things. Track credibility metrics, see what's working, and iterate. Adjust your approach.
And the big takeaway there seems to be, just keep doing it. Consistent action beats, trying to be perfect from day one.
Absolutely. It's about steady progress, building that trust, brick by brick, day after day. It adds up.
Because ultimately, that online credibility, it's like the rocket fuel for growth, isn't it? It's what helps startups really take off and last.
That's a great way to put it. It really distinguishes the flashes in the pan from the enduring businesses.
So just to quickly recap for everyone, we've dug into why authentic branding matters, the power of great content, using social proof smartly, engaging genuinely with your community, and why transparency is king.
Exactly. All those pieces together build that essential trust. And it's not a set it and forget it's thing. It needs constant nurturing, daily effort.
Right. It's an ongoing asset you have to maintain.
Definitely. So, take a hard look at your own online presence right now. Where are the gaps? Where could you engage more effectively?
Yeah, what's one small step you could take, maybe even today, to start building more trust online?
And think about the long game, consistently applying these principles. Imagine how that could really transform your startup's path over time. It's powerful stuff to consider.